around. Being politicians, they love going to their constituencies. In every politics is local, and in the period of campaigns, they have more reasons to be within their constituencies. So if they convene, expect to see empty chairs in the Senate, but the hope is that they will pass it in good time for the president to sign. Let me welcome my colleagues. Teve Tiav is joined by Abulo Semwago.
Amici, good morning, and good morning, dear listener. Merry Christmas to you, and I hope you have gotten the chicken.
It's not Christmas yet.
Today is the last working day.
Yes.
So you don't go rushing to market.
That's in advance.
And I hope there will not be a stampede in the market today and tomorrow. Although people complain they don't have money, but you see
I was in the market yesterday, and there was a huge traffic.
So people buy tomatoes, meat, goat, just manage it so that don't forget that you have school fees to pay in January. Those that are paying school fees, don't forget that the year starts afresh in January with a lot of expenditure. So don't spend everything in this Christmas, but manage it and share. Don't forget to share, not like the politicians are sharing as campaign instruments. Share as love one another, and let's move on as one Nigeria. Amici, discrepancies in the 2023 budget. Why did they just use the word padding? That the budget was padded, and so go back and correct it. But the time frame to correct it is our worry. Monday, Tuesday is public holiday, and you say you are resuming on the 28th to pass the budget. So at what time will there be correction? Or they'll just sit there in the office and take a decision? So we need more openness. This is where we need the open governance, process to take place. So you're going to be looking at the budget during the holidays period. Who's going to pay for the overtime? Who's going to pay for the overtime? Who's going to pay for that overtime with the executive to work and correct the so-called discrepancies that you have observed? And moreover, I think fingers should be pointed. What happened? And you should not take it lightly. This is a national instrument. The budget is a national instrument. And for you to just wake up and say, oh, we're not passing it because there are discrepancies, these figures are not this. Which ministry, which agencies inserted certain things inside the budget?
Did they say there was padding? There was the only one that was raised was with the over 200 billion seen in humanitarian affairs budget. But after someone's issued to the finance minister and his appearance and explanation, they said, okay, we now understand, just an honest mistake as it were. So I don't know where you're getting this padding from. Or you think, or you suspect there are other...
No, I've said they should come out clearly to tell us the areas where they have discrepancies, why they didn't pass the budget as promised yesterday.
Teve, did they provide details of the problem that prevented them from passing it yesterday?
Amici, good morning to you, good morning, listener. What we know is that beyond what the Senate President said, there were some errors in the figures. That in fact, those were the words that he practically used, that there were errors. Some papers are reporting presidential errors, and all of that. But there are also other newspaper reports that are talking about constituency projects. They are blaming the delay on non-reconciliation with the issue of constituency. The Senate President said the budget was full of errors. And then the newspaper report is saying, look, the constituency project also is a reason why, the budget has not was not passed as scheduled. Whatever it is, I'm sure they will work it out. They are working this tightrope because they've imposed on themselves the January to December budget cycle. That's why they are making history for the first time, coming back after Christmas, to be able to pass the budget, and transmit it to the president. Abulu, the lawmaking, the legislature functions more in committees than what you see in plenary is just is more of a ceremony.
Most of the decisions, main key actions taken
way taken
among the presiding officers, among the principal officers, within the committees, plenary just to, let the A, the eyes have it.
The final copy.
Yes.
So the appropriation committees definitely would work overtime during the holiday to clean up the errors as pointed out.
But let me ask David, before you continue, these errors, at what point were they noticed?
The president said the entire budget is full of errors.
And they didn't tell us when the budget estimate was laid before them. They didn't notice. Is it that they didn't notice these errors when they were examining it, when the committees went to work, when the executive members came to defend it? Is it that they didn't detect these errors? Is it not their job to detect the errors? If the law envisages that the budget document prepared by the executive is flawless, there's no need to take it to the National Assembly. Once the Federal Executive Council of the Federation approves, it becomes law. It is because of that gatekeeping, that oversight, that it was taken to the National Assembly. And you mentioned the issue of constituency project. And most times, if there is a problem, it's about constituency project. Because what happens is that when they bring it, the executive presents the budget estimates, the National Assembly will also bring in their constituency process. So we may not be surprised if at the end of the day, it becomes a problem of what projects are they inserting.
We'll wait to see. I'm not too sure whether the executive will respond to this, but we'll wait to see clearly how it will eventually, turn out. But Amechi, we must admit that we have a challenge with our budget process, right from the formation all through. You recall that it's just a matter of initiating a memo from the budget office or the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning to the MDAs to make submissions. They give them a deadline, the submissions are made, and then they are told whether it is envelope or zero budgeting or whatever budgeting they are doing. They send in the estimates, the budget office collates them, and then it's presented to the Executive Council of the Federation. Once they say, okay, the president can go ahead, the president goes to lay it before the National Assembly, and then the issue of padding, the issue of, and all of that. So clearly, there's something wrong with this. I don't know how, but we need to find a way. I want to believe that there should be, a bottom-up approach in this situation, because some of the projects, to the best of my understanding, are not what they should be. We've seen, even in my own community, I've seen people take boreholes and all of that to their houses. When you see the budget,
and boreholes shouldn't appear in a federal budget.
They are there.
There's no reason why boreholes should be seen in a federal budget. Borehole should be seen in a local government budget, not even state government budget.
Don't forget there is a Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development. So when they talk of that, so
not just they put it there, they put it inside their house.
In their house. Their fathers, I've seen several of them.
And sometimes they claim they are the ones that did it. That is not a budgetary issue.
So that is the challenge.
It's their own empowerment.
But I mean,
it's not just at the federal level, the state and the local government. We need to start seeing how we can get communities involved. We need to see how we can get everybody involved from the process. And by the time it gets, I don't know, the budget office, honestly, I have restrained myself from talking about that man and his team. There's so much more that they should do. Some of this duplication of projects, it's as if once the MDAs come or there's lobbying, okay, just allow them to go. If not, if budget, there's an office that is a one-stop shop and all the ministries are submitting, you should be able to dictate the duplications, but they don't do that. The president goes to present. If I were the president with all these errors and all of those things, somebody will pay for it. You can't embarrass me in that manner.
The one major problem we have in Nigeria, we treat most of these very sensitive things with kid gloves. That is the problem we have. Ministry of this will bring it. The chief will not even look at it. He just tell a director or an assistant, have they brought it? Fine. Whatever is started there is not our business. You have so much trust or maybe so much corrupt-minded persons handling these things, and they don't care about the ripple effect of this. It tells more about our image as Nigeria, because we're talking about the national budget, and you have other African countries watching you. You have the foreign Western countries watching you, how you do your things. Just like the national currency, the budget is an instrument of government. And if you keep coming up to the public domain to say errors that, or pardon this, or discrepancies, it's a shame on you, because you have civil servants that have been there for 20, 30, 25 years, and you come back with a document and they say there are errors. It's shameful. It's insane. Because you have to work. We are saying. I'm asking a question earlier on. I say, at what time are they going to be working? I mean, between now and 27th, to give us a budget at 28. How fair would that be on us as citizens Nigerians? How fair would that be?
If a member of the Committee on Appropriation and Finance, you can give up your holidays to work on the budget. So for you to be appointed into that committee is harder to be appointed a minister of the Federal Republic. I'm telling you, because that committee, if you are a member of that committee on appropriation, is only the henchmen of the presiding officers, the Speaker and the Senate, because that is where anything could be done, and that is where anything could be undone. We lost an opportunity. It was during the time of Umaru Musa Yar'Adua as president late that he threatened to drag the National Assembly before the court for a declaration. Let the Supreme Court make a declaration as to the right of the National Assembly to insert project. When he made that statement on this program, we clapped for him and said, let's test our democracy, let's test the judiciary, let's bury this hatchet once and for all, because it started from the time of Olusegun Obasanjo. When they bring it, the National Assembly members will insert, they will say, I won't sign, I can't implement this, it's not implementable. They will say, okay, leave it, sign it, then come back with supplementary, come back with, and that's what we have been doing. We want that declaration. I'm talking of your bottom-up approach. That bottom-up approach is very right, but it should also include getting the buying of the National Assembly at the earliest stages. The problem that we have been having since 1999 is that the executive takes over, assumes sole responsibility for budgeting process. Before, in the Second Republic, as the budgets are being prepared in the executive, key members of the National Assembly do join them. Politics is all about interest. You are in the executive, you have your interest. They are in the legislature, they also have their interest. So all interests are put together at that earliest stages, so that by the time they finish work on the document, it becomes like what's the name of that 110 meters hurdles record holder, the Nigerian?
Amosu.
Your girlfriend.
Toby Amosu.
Toby. It's not like Toby making that 110 meters hurdle before you could say what is happening. She has breasted the tape. So we advise those arms of government to get the citizens involved, so that not when you're building borehole, what they need is a healthcare center. You get that input from them, get the input from the National Assembly member at the conception stage.
But the National Assembly, Amici, at what point did we come up with this constituency project, Amici? You are lawmakers. You are lawmakers. First and foremost, you are lawmakers, Amici. You make law.
And oversight.
And we have the executive that execute this law and execute project. So at what point did we miss it that we inserted constitutional projects?
Is this same issue of bottom-top approach?
Yes.
Because from Enugu State, for instance, where you come from, it's not possible, going by what we have, to have persons on decision-making, responsibilities, a ministry of all the ministries, let me just say all the ministries, let's say water resources, for instance, such that if the people need dredging or they need any other water facility, that can be included. So over time, because the civil servants have hijacked this process and we're not meeting the needs of the people, the lawmakers felt, okay, we are the ones representing the people.
So they are the ones always with the people, and we know what they want.
So are they sure they are always with the people?
So in the executive, not bringing in the National Assembly, including knowing their interest, not factoring it in at that earlier stage.
Yeah.
The National Assembly members will say, if we go back to our constituents, remember that the executive members don't rarely travel. They sneak into their constituencies and sneak out. But these National Assembly members go and stay with them. And the people will be asking them, we want this, we want that. And they tell them, there's nothing we can do. Then they'll say, you don't deserve to be there. We'll vote you out. So out of that pressure, they now resorted. I'm trying to explain the advent of the consultative project. They wait for the executive to finish their own show. When you finish, they say, you go bring them here. When they now bring it here, they put in their own. So that's why we're saying it happened in the past. That consensus building at the conception stage should be encouraged so that everyone that interest, they are part of the government. You are in the executive, they are in the legislature. And we, the citizens, also have our interest. And how do you even put your interest in the budget? You have to hold your lawmaker to account. When you see them, tell them, with this primary school, this, that, not at just the federal level, more at the state level, more at the councillorship local government level. You hold down your council and say, this federal road must be graded. When they go to the executive council, he puts pressure. And then if it's a federal project, you put pressure on the federal lawmakers. The collective of this pressure, the lawmakers will take to the executive, and as they are preparing the budget, they put everything there.
Now the money consensus project is transferred to the lawmaker or to the constituency office?
No, it's part of the
budget.
That
is why they drafted. That's why it was moved to the Ministry of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs. The ministry is supposed to oversee constituency projects.
No, they have spread all over the MDAs.
But there's a coordinating. The ministry is the one coordinating constituency project execution.
Used to.
Yeah.
It used to.
So as they removed that,
almost as worthless as what it is. They were in charge of NEMA, in charge of ecological and several things. All of
but they took everything
away. Has been taken away.
And where did they take
humanitarian
affairs? So who's the Minister of Special Duties?
He's a Tebe's uncle, Akume, John Akume, former governor.
He's not the uncle. He's of the same ethnic extraction. So is he reading?
We're actually from the same place.
Okay, he's the uncle. Yeah. Okay, so is he reading newspapers when he gets to the office?
He's doing what he does.
I think we should give him more work.
Let's go for a break. In the absence of no work, he will be reading newspapers. He will attend more town meetings now because he has all the time in the world.
He's doing with the national awards and the other
the very national merit award.
And then now happen once in 8 years.
There are other, you don't forget, it's also intergovernmental affairs, so there are several other things it does. But then, I think the National Assembly is also trying the politics of it now to push the president, to his war. Because if the budget is approved by 28th, he has only 29. How many days? And he cannot request for them to make any amendment before he signs.
Maybe they're applying delay tactics.
Delay
the president in such a way that he'll be under pressure
to sign and keep his January to December.
The president has a few months: January, February, March, April, May. Barely 5 months to go, and there are legacy projects he wants to complete.
So no sleep
the
for
National Assembly members will say, apply delay tactics. Put him under pressure so that when we bring the budget, whatever is there, he will be compelled to sign. Democracy is working in Nigeria. Let's take a break. When we come back, you may stay with us.
The PVC.
Yes.
I didn't benefit from him.